Okay, here's another League of Legends post-game commentary coming your way, this time with Tahm Kench support. So after seeing him in the ARAM game, I figured most of you probably realized, okay, it's just a matter of time until our catfish frog thing finally gets his turn, and here we are. So I definitely have to say Kench is probably pretty far into the overpowered side, but he's pretty fun to play. And hopefully you'll get to see why as we play this game. So let me look at our matchups. This game I might have forgotten to rearrange them. But Cait and I are bot against a Jinx and Karma. We have Shyvana in the jungle, and I don't remember who they have. I was kind of distracted at the time of recording this right here, which is why I'm not doing live comm for one, and why I'm also just going to be strumming my tongue for a little while. We can see we have Gnar top, Ahri mid, and I did actually play a game with the enemy team before this. I believe the jungler, AD carry, and support are all pre-made. Okay, there we go. So Yasuo mid, Cho'Gath in the jungle, Vlad top. And yeah, those are all our matchups. So anyway, I'll explain how Kench works. Your passive is Acquired Taste. By damaging the enemy with your Q or your auto attacks, you will apply stacks of Acquired Taste on them. And once you reach 3 stacks, your other moves have a bonus effect. The Q becomes a stun, and then with the W you can actually eat the enemy for a really massive amount of damage. You will see me kill people using the W in this game. Q is Tongue Lash, linear skill shot, medium range I'd say. You deal a nice chunk of damage to the enemy and apply a severely debilitating slow. His slow is really overpowered. Makes him extremely good at kiting people like Shyvana. And in the top lane it just makes him a nightmare for melee units to fight. The Q itself scales off of AP normally. Once you unlock your ult, it'll also get a health ratio. It's something small, yes, but when you build Tahm tanky, it pays off in dividends. Next up is your W, Devour. As it sounds, you eat stuff. You can eat an ally that will just put them in the safety of your stomach. You'll see me use this to shut out a Yasuo ult a couple times. And while they are inside of you, you actually get a movement speed boost, so you can actually carry them to safety and protect someone who's in danger of dying. The Acquired Taste effect is you can eat the enemy, and once they have been eaten, like right here I ate Jinx, you can take out about 1/3 of their health. Even, depending on how much penetration you build as support, even as support, yes. But as top lane, it gets really ridiculous. And the third effect is you can eat a minion. It has to be an enemy minion or neutral. Dragon, Baron don't count, obviously. I don't know if the big monsters do. But then you can spit them out and deal damage to the thing you ate, as well as the stuff around. Next up is your E. This has an active and a passive effect. The passive effect is when you take damage, you generate gray health. This gray health is equal to the amount of damage you took, and then you have 2 options. This is when your E activates. You can either activate the E and turn all of this gray health into a rapidly decaying shield. That means it vanishes very, very quickly. Or your other option is you can not do anything. And if you do nothing, then this gray health will actually regenerate a certain percentage of your normal health. I believe it maxed out something like 1/3. Like right here I ate Caitlyn just to make sure that she didn't die. And because of the way his E works, he synergizes extremely well with the Spirit Visage. Shockingly so. And as a result, top lane Kench is a bully, yes, and he is just extremely tough to kill. When the Poppy rework actually comes through, Tahm Kench will probably be the best tower diver in the game because of the way his E and W work. Finally, that brings us to the ult, Abyssal Voyage. This is kind of lackluster, to be honest. The passive effect is that it adds damage onto your auto attacks and your Q scaling off of your health, so he has somewhat of a spike when you unlock his ult in case you do want to take him top. It's pretty noticeable even in the bot lane too, so don't underestimate the passive. The active effect, on the other hand, is kind of like a Pantheon ult or a Twisted Fate ult, except the thing is, you can take an ally with you. So Tahm will channel for a moment, giving your ally a period of time to jump into his mouth, and then you get to carry them away somewhere. Now, this doesn't exactly have as long of a cooldown as the Shen, TF, Pantheon ults because it's highly conditional. And second of all, its range is pretty sucky at rank 1. The range just massively expands as you rank it up. It's just early on it sucks. As for right here, Cait is panicking. I'll be reverting back to the game just in time. Right there is when they use the last of their mana. So while Cait was complaining about the poke, the fact of the matter is right now they are kind of defenseless. And we will be killing Karma shortly for using all of her mana. So about this lane, this favors Cait early because of her range, but Jinx will eventually outscale because hypercarry, etc., etc. The thing is, the amount of time it takes Jinx to basically eclipse Cait is entirely dependent on how well the Jinx can either last hit or get kills. And avoiding getting killed helps with this, but it's not as necessary as gaining your own CS, or gaining your own gold, I should say. So, a couple things about this lane. If you're wondering why I took the coin as Kench, like, I didn't think I'd actually kill that right there, but like right there I carried Cait to safety. For some reason or another she decided to jump out in front, but that doesn't matter because I used the exhaust, got my third stack of my passive there, and I used the Q for the kill. It does even more damage now since my ult is unlocked. I think it's unlocked. No, it's not. Well, it just does a lot of damage, like a ridiculous amount. Right there I used the stun on Jinx, and I was kind of hoping to get something out of her because I could always pop the E for a shield in case it lined up like that. It's just it didn't. Anyway, we forced them out of the bot lane so we can go ahead and help ourselves to the dragon. After this we can recall and come back to lane with new items. So going back to what I was saying before, if you're wondering why I went for the amulet coin, Tahm does scale off of health, which the relic shield does give him. It's just if you want to be aggressive in lane, you have to kind of spam. And the relic shield doesn't really do anything in terms of mana for you. If you're wondering why not go Spell Thieves, then, well, Tahm is a melee support, so you kind of need some sort of health regen, which is where the shield would come into play. And as a result, the coin is a happy medium. And the icing on this cake is that the medallion and onward also gives you movement speed. So as a result, it becomes easier and easier to actually carry an ally to safety. You will see me kind of exploit this as time goes on. I will be building Boots of Swiftness on Tahm to just haul ass when I need to get someone out of the fight. And the other nice thing about the Boots of Swiftness is that should mitigate the movement speed penalty you get for having an enemy inside of you. I'm not sure if you noticed when I ate Jinx earlier, but you lose 95% of your movement speed when an enemy is inside. Next order of business is my skill order. I'm maxing the Q for poke because it's a slow, it's just Tahm's best move. No matter where you go, you should be maxing this first. From there, you have two options. You either max the W or the E, and they both have different advantages and disadvantages. The advantage to maxing the W is that the damage from spitting stuff out will go up, and then you can also keep stuff inside of your stomach for longer periods of time. As for the E, the advantage to that is that you get better health regen on the gray health. I believe you also get like a better base shield, maybe? Or maybe more CDR or something. Anyway, I go for the E max here just because I'm up against two ranged. Depending on your specific lane, you may actually be better off maxing the W. It's just something you have to play by ear. You can see here, there's just a ton of poke with the Jinx Zap, the Karma Inner Flame. I think that's what her Q is called. So right there I used the shield to shut out the Jinx ult. And from here, Cait can kind of pick a victim. Now, one of the things that does suck about playing Kench is you could see how important my role was during that fight. Here I DC'd briefly. Without a heal or some sort of steroid to give to your ally, it's a lot harder to get assists. So you can't necessarily judge KDA for Kench because he has other ways of assisting. Anyway, with this we kind of forced them out of lane. You can see that even though... Oh, I forgot to mention. Not sure if you noticed, but they took the Gromp to start, so they hit an early level 2, which is why they had an EXP advantage on us for most of the laning phase. It's just with the 2 Karma kills and forcing them out of lane like this, we've almost caught back up. They're still somewhat ahead. Like right here I'm reading these just to try to figure out what should I do next. And like Cait and I do have a synergy, I should point out. The 90 caliber net, or whatever the hell the number on it is, does combine with the tongue lash for a very debilitating slow combo. As a result, we can just take the wind out of someone's sails and they're not going anywhere. Now right here I wanted to try to protect Cait, but she wasn't close enough for me to eat before the detonation.
Now we shall recognize.
As for Tahm's mana cost, in terms of supports, he's actually one of the much better ones. The drawback, of course, is just he has a small mana pool, and good news is his regen actually isn't that bad. It's just in his current form, I simply do not see him allowing to remain as is. He definitely does not have the problem Bard had. Anyway, with my shield down, I have to actually leave the lane, just in case a Super Mega Death Rocket comes my way. And it is a bit disappointing for the Shyvana that, as aggressive as the enemy has been, they should have been a pretty easy kill. It's just, our Shyvana does a lot of bad stuff this game, and, like, just not answering their aggression is the start of it. With the Yordle snap traps, the net, the tongue lash, we have a lot of movement speed slows. But the thing is, if you notice Shyvana, like right, I didn't click on her, but whenever I open the window, she went for these skirmishers, which I don't totally agree with. With her lack of CC, I believe the Stalkers is exponentially better. I mean, the skirmishers wouldn't be bad if there was actually like a really strong duelist that she needed to worry about. The thing is, Shyvana kind of bullies everyone early on by default, so there just isn't a return. Double ward for the win. And if you're wondering why I didn't buy any wards before the Sightstone, it's just because they, being Jinx and Karma, they took the Gromp, so as a result they were just going to be aggressive the entire lane phase. There was no risk of gank. And even if there were, Cho'Gath is in an interesting situation because he either will go after Caitlyn and I'll just devour her and walk away, or he'll go after me and then Caitlyn will just beat the crap out of him. So the bad news right here is my Devour is just now coming up. And you can see what I mean by how annoying Kench can be. For all intents and purposes, Cait should have been dead to rights, but that's the dilemma you have when Tahm Kench is on the field. He has even more saving potential than Thresh, and his is actually a lot cooler than Thresh's, which is why I'm not complaining. It's just, he has so many other things that he is a tad overloaded, in my opinion. Anyway, right here I will show off the Abyssal Voyage. And one thing that I'm really disappointed about with Tahm Kench is that when you're channeling this, he doesn't yell out anything along the lines of, "Get in the chomper."
Nothing escapes hunger.
But without the Scion Arnold impersonation, I guess Riot just doesn't want it at all. Sadly, the tongue doesn't reach far enough, and there's absolutely nothing we can do to test this. Even if Shyvana were here, it's just Cho'Gath's Feast does the flat 1000 true damage at all ranks to minions and monsters. it's near impossible to steal from him unless you're Nunu, and even for Nunu it's a little tricky. Pretty much if Shyvana wanted to get stuff done, she needed to be a little bit more aggressive earlier, but oh well. And one thing I should point out is that this is something I talked about, I think, in the Nocturne Black Market Brawlers game. When you have a Devourer or Jungler, you have two options. You can either just power farm and rush the, say, Devourer as soon as possible to make an impact that way, or you can choose to delay your Devourer somewhat just to try to get your laners further ahead and better viable. I prefer the get your laners up to speed and then win that way, but the Shyvana goes for the other school of thought. So one thing I should mention about Tahm Kench is his voiceover does change in terms of tone as you apply more and more of your passive. Hopefully you can see that he becomes very aggressive, very ravenous. You heard me yell, "Give it to me," because I had 2 stacks, I think. And right there I was just trying to protect an ally. Pretty much as a support you still do need to die for your carry, even if you are Kench. So while we have a bit of downtime, I can go ahead and point out something about the enemy team comp. You'll notice they have a Vladimir Tahm. They have a Cho'Gath in the jungle. And for AD they have the Yasuo and the Jinx. So the Yasuo isn't going to be doing too hot, while the Vladimir does amazing. So as a result, to offset this, one of the items that I'm going to get is the Banner of Command. So to put things into context for you, once I use the banner, Vladimir can't do anything. He pretty much has to leave. Cho'Gath can feast at the bannered minion. Otherwise, his other option is just to try to auto-attack it. That is kind of workable for him because he has a very high amount of AD for just any character in general. It's just, unless he has the Nashor's Tooth, he's not going to be attacking very quickly, and it's still a pain to clear. So right there we got a clutch charm. Right there I got to proc my passive. Sadly I didn't get the stun, but she has to leave, otherwise she dies. So going back to what I was saying about the Banner of Command, that would leave Yasuo or Jinx to clear it. Ideally, Jinx is the best suited to do so. Yasuo not so much because, while he is an AD character, the thing is, he's going to rush Static Shiv first and foremost. And from there, he can't actually use the electrical surge from the Shiv to help clear. He actually just has to whack it down. And it's very dangerous to trade with that minion in the first place. So those bannered minions are going to be extremely annoying. So right there I went ahead and ate Ahri so that Yasuo couldn't do any more damage. And as a result, his armor shred on his ult just kind of goes to waste. Sadly, right here I do die, but we do get Vladimir, and right here I ask the important question. Where the hell is everyone? Why is Cait bot? They get a free tower, they get kills, and we get the shaft. Pretty much there wasn't any real excuse for her to be down there. I mean, I can understand Shyvana wanting to go get Vlad, since trying to help Gnar can pay off in dividends later. It's just, there wasn't much reason for Cait to be down bot. Even if the kill on me is offset by the kill on Vladimir, they are still up a tower. And yeah, I'm just gonna stop there. So I can't really complain too much because even still this is a lot better than some of the crap I've seen in Black Market Brawlers. And when I think about that, it's very cathartic. So Vlad teleported in, I got to deal some poke damage to Jinx. You'll see Gnar has arrived. Here we have our first team fight. And right here I ate Vladimir. So Jinx goes down, Karma goes down, but I don't get anything off of Karma, sadly. I do get Vladimir, nothing off Cho, we had a lag spike, and Ari denies Shiv's Penta.
Nothing escapes.
So the way I get my assists pretty much here is just I either speed them up by using my talisman, or I have to hit the enemy.
The flame.
In the meantime, the dragon is up. We can go ahead and get this. This should be something Shyvana wants because it is 5 stacks for her Devour. I can go ahead and help her clear the Scuttle Crab. The slow on my Q makes it a lot easier for her to apply burnout damage and just sit there and slug the sucker. And unfortunately, due to my low health, there's not really much I can do. I go ahead and burn the talisman, giving them a speed boost. Try to just help them get out once the thing dies. But now I need to go back and get my... I'll work on getting the Aegis.
Your team has destroyed a ship.
So I'm not entirely sure what would have been the best course of action to actually just get the Null Magic Mantle or the Rejuve Bead. The reason why I wanted the Rejuve Bead is just because it's a little bit of extra healing. That way it synergizes with my E, helps me stay in the fight a little bit longer, and all that stuff.
Another snack.
As for right here, I'm trying to help set these up for Ari so that she can get those.
All shall drown in my bag.
It's not going to be a lot of CS or gold generated right now. It's just as you do more and more small things, it
Everyone
becomes something
ends
big.
by the river, eventually.
So right here, I was kind of hoping he'd come out, but he's too afraid.
My diet is expensive.
Now right here, Cait should have been able to help me clear that, but we have our next team fight. So Cho goes down, I can go ahead and use the Tongue Lash to slow some people. Yasuo ends up biting the dust, and that's basically 2 for nothing. And the good news is we are now in position to actually siege the mid-turret. Cho'Gath out of the way is actually pretty nice because we don't have to worry about Rupture and then some sort of initiation following up. The absolute worst case scenario, of course, would just be if Cho'Gath landed a big Rupture, which in turn would then become a big Last Breath from Yasuo. Karma down, we're going to lose Shiv, but we'll get Jinx. Not entirely sure that was worth it, but we still get the tower, which is the important thing.
I am appetite focused.
And right here you have to realize there's a time to just bounce. No point sticking around and throwing away any sort of lead we're trying to build. And right here I'm telling Cait that I'm going to ult down bot. And you can see that it gets her here pretty quickly. She doesn't miss as much CS. As far as I know, that's pretty much like the only use for it, since you shouldn't be ulting into a team fight first and foremost, because if you are, then something is fundamentally wrong to begin with. Like, I can kind of understand if maybe the team got engaged on, but still,
Let us eat voraciously and
like, that should only be an issue if you're playing from behind, because you shouldn't be that far away from your team in the first place. Not enough for the Aegis just yet, but I can go ahead and get the Boots of Swiftness so I can get in and out of fights more quickly.
easily pacified.
Delays the Aegis a little bit, yes, but hopefully on the next back I'd have enough, is my line of thinking. You can see Cait has the IE, the Zeal, a Dagger. Dagger means she's going for the Phantom Dance rather than Static Shiv. And right here I go ahead and eat Ari so that everything doesn't go on her. As for right here, I'm just trying to keep Vladimir out of the fight. I go ahead and use the Tongue Lash to chunk him, and here I'm going to execute him with my W. Testament to that thing's power. So in the end, we lost Ari, but we picked up 3 of them. That was an amazing trade for us.
A depth of flame
And I can't see on my screen if Shiv has her Sated Devourer just yet, but that's just a bunch more stacks to bring her even closer in the event she doesn't. But at this point, even if she's trying to snowball the other lanes first, it's still late to get it.
every heart.
So right there I had to eat Shyvana, otherwise she'd have died. She goes ahead and pops right out and dies anyway. Totally defeating the point of me trying to rescue her and getting killed in the process. In the meantime, there's sadly, he's so big and slow that he can't really stun the enemy. He has to actually use his ult to get stuff done. And even that's not enough to save his life. At this point, I just can't afford to delay the Aegis anymore. By getting it, I get the MR aura for my team, but the important thing is that we actually get a little bit more healing. And the importance for that is it's going to help us immensely during a siege, because we have to worry about the Jinx Karma poke, potentially anything Cho'Gath lobs our way. And yeah, so it goes down, which is starting to become a recurring theme here. So you can see that Vladimir has a Rylai's, makes him extremely annoying. Right here I try to eat Shyvana just so only one of us takes damage from the mantra.
Nothing escapes hunger.
And to explain a little bit about Cait, she's a mid-game AD carry, I'd say. There's some division of opinion on whether or not she falls off late. I'm part of the group that says yes. And that's why getting the second dragon is so important. By getting the increased damage to towers, it becomes easier for her to siege. Sieges become more effective, yes, stuff like that. And while the boost is actually fairly small, the way it usually pays off is that you will take the tower in one less minion wave than it normally would take you. So if you're wondering, minion waves spawn every 30 seconds. As a result, that can save you 30 seconds to go and do something else on the map somewhere else.
We all go and dies from time to time.
It's very handy as a comeback mechanic because you can save about 30 seconds per tower. Not so much when you're ahead, because then obviously you don't really save time when the tower's already gone. And I could have killed Vladimir much sooner if I had actually ate him. It's just I didn't want to take the kill from Gnar. Sadly, while all this is going on, we go ahead and lose mid. We do get Cho'Gath, but towers are more important than kills. So I go ahead and kill Karma to show her who's boss. Jinx goes ahead and dies to the ace in the hole. And we kind of have our options here. We can either go to the Baron Pit, or we can go ahead and take the inhibitor.
Covet is to starve.
Now, normally the Baron would be a little dangerous, yes, at Shyvana's help. The thing is, she has a Devourer and a Blade of the Rune King, so she has a lot of lifesteal and I can help tank. Speaking of which, we also have the Aegis to boost her healing as well as reduce some of Baron's damage. So Cho goes ahead and kills Ari, so we have to return in kind. You send one of ours to the morgue, we send two of yours, etc. Gang mentality 101, pretty much.
An enticing culinary
So right here I go ahead and eat Gnar, so last breath is denied. Unfortunately, once again, they choose not to do anything with my move. With Boots of Swiftness, there's pretty much no chance that they're going to catch me. In the event they do catch Cait, I'm just going to eat her, take my movement speed boost, and get to safety that way. And in the event that they just don't, I'm just going to leave them. That's kind of it. Anyway, game's winding down. I need to go ahead and get the banner. I was contemplating just grabbing the codex and getting a different item, something
And starving.
with a different stat, but I figure let's just go let's go for broke.
Now we shall gluttonize.
Right here I want to enhance the bottom wave so that we can pressure this while all of the fighting is taking place by the Baron pit. And just keep in mind, that wave is going to push into the tower. As long as we can pull their attention away from the bot lane, that banner is going to pay for itself in a matter of seconds.
I covet.
An enemy has been slain.
So while that lane pushes itself, we need to go mid and get that inhibitor. That way we can
All the world's a
just
river.
increase our pressure immensely. So right here, I was kind of expecting them to have surrendered right there after the whole Baron thing failed. They gave up all the deaths, and we're collecting the mid inhib as a result, but they stick with it.
Destroyed an inhibitor.
Can be abated.
So right here, I wanted to join up with the rest of the team. I'm wondering, does Cait want to take an Abyssal Voyage? We're taking the Baron, and Cait opts to go bot, and we can actually use the empowered minion to take towers.
Your team has
So you can see it's still there. It's now banner empowered as well as Baron empowered. And if we actually had the reinforcements to stick around here, that minion would be a bitch to take down.
Hunger.
Like I said earlier, it has to be Yasuo or Jinx to clear it.
Misery has a delectable taste.
So while the minion does die, the good news is my banner is about to come up again, and this time I'm going to use it on a caster minion in the top lane.
Wanes.
As for why caster minion, you'll see when we get up there.
I have tastes that aren't easily pacified.
So right here we're just trying to shove the super wave into the mid, that way we can swing top and collect an easy tower. And 1 minute remains. So right here I'm just trying to get Karma off. And watch the range on the minion that I'm going to empower. The thing you want to watch is where it stands relative to the Baron empowered cannon. Its range is actually longer than the cannon. So for Jinx to clear this, she actually has to come out from under the tower and then we can kill her. If not the Ari charm, then my tongue lash is going to set it up and from there she dies. So don't underestimate the caster minions with the banner, and the Baron is just icing on the cake to increase its damage and survivability. Anyway, that's the end of the game. Tahm Kench support, someone who will be making appearances on the channel in the future, since I definitely do enjoy him. Otherwise, that's it for now. Poor Shiv. So,